Also just in tonight, the breaking news, the video circulating online of a suspected terror attack in Israel. Reports of multiple explosions targeting buses at different locations. They were empty, but Israeli authorities say this was meant for the morning rush. Martha Raddatz on what we know. Moments ago, Elon Musk center stage wielding a chainsaw amid the mass layoffs targeting thousands of federal workers across the U.S. The president's team today defending his first 30 days in office. And the new poll in tonight, what Americans think of the first 30 days of the mass firings, of Elon Musk's role, what the polling reveals. Tonight, after President Trump called President Zelensky a dictator and said that Ukraine shouldn't have started the war with Russia, the White House today saying President Trump is very frustrated with Zelensky. The Trump administration pressuring him to sign a deal that allegedly includes handing over 50% of Ukraine's mineral rights to the U.S. European leaders alarmed by this sudden shift on Ukraine. The prison inmate brought to a new prison in upstate New York, the disturbing police video, and authorities say within a half an hour of arriving at that prison, the inmate was clinically dead. Tonight, in an extraordinary move, the Menendez brothers calling into a podcast from prison, hoping to be set free. Eric and Lyle Menendez describing their 35 years in prison and what they reveal. The dramatic scene on the highway, a mother driving an SUV slammed by a cement truck. The SUV bursts into flames. The extraordinary effort to save the mother. And the showdown on the ice, USA versus Canada, amid political tension between both countries boiling over even before the hockey game tonight.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Thursday night. The suspected terror attack in Israel, multiple bus explosions, the images coming in now, and Martha Raddatz on this in a moment. But we do begin tonight with the life-threatening, dangerous cold across the country. It is record-breaking tonight, 70 million Americans bracing from Texas right over to the East Coast. Take a look at the wind chills tomorrow morning, the feel-like temperatures below freezing across this country. Wind chills minus 13 in Minneapolis, 14 in Shreveport, 3 in Nashville, 13 in Washington, D.C., 11 in New York City tomorrow morning. New images tonight of a water main break, cars encased in ice in Detroit, several feet deep. They're working to clear the ice. An historic snowstorm in Virginia Beach, up to 13 inches of snow, treacherous driving on the roads. 3 people rescued from a submerged car in Boone County, Kentucky. The death toll from days of flooding, snow, and ice there now rising to 15 tonight. Crashes on Highway 321 in Lincoln County, North Carolina. Lee Goldberg standing by with the forecast, what you'll face tomorrow, and the big change then coming. And ABC's Faith Abube with the images coming in tonight.
Tonight, after powerful storms pummeled the East Coast with up to a foot of snow, now the deep freeze. More than a dozen record lows broken this morning, minus 15 in Omaha, Nebraska, the coldest on this date in more than 100 years. And with the wind chill, it felt like 27 below. First responders and homeless outreach workers in Omaha working to convince people to seek shelter if they need it.
No one can survive this. We have people who have been out in other winters and have survived, and they think they can survive this, just like past winters. It's different.
In Kansas City, roofer Gabe Tobe telling me this is the first time in 4 years that it's been just too cold to work.
It's extremely hard when it's this cold. Our hands are our best tools, and if you can't feel your fingers, then it's really not easy to do your job.
In Detroit, an entire neighborhood encased in ice earlier this week. WXYZ's Randy Wembley on the scene.
City crews have been breaking up and removing ice surrounding dozens of vehicles here after a massive water main break that flooded blocks in this neighborhood from the streets all the way into basements.
Officials say it'll be at least 2 weeks before everything is fixed. And in Kentucky, the death toll from the devastating flooding rising to 15. They're still making water rescues. In Boone County overnight, first responders pulling 3 people out of their submerged vehicle. They're expected to be okay.
And David, behind me, the Missouri and the Kansas rivers covered in a sheet of ice. One more night of brutally cold temperatures around -3 degrees, and then the warm up approaching 60 degrees by Monday. A major swing in temperatures. David.
Yeah, what a swing there in Kansas City for sure. Faith, thank you again tonight. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg of WABC here in New York.
David, we're almost to the finish line of this frigid blast. A wicked wind here in New York right now, and the flakes are flying through the evening hours. But the core of the cold still in the middle of the country. Look at the wake-up temperatures tomorrow. Teens and 20s all the way down to the deep south. All those circle cities, possible record lows. 21 in Dallas, 17 in Birmingham. You factor in the wind, feels like 20 to 30 below in the Midwest, in the plains, single digits from Lubbock to Huntsville. But what a change over the weekend. Temperatures spike, as you heard in Kansas City, some 36 degrees by Monday. We'll be in the low 60s. Pushing 70 in Dallas, 50s in New York. Will feel great by early next week. David?
All right, Lee Goldberg with the forecast for us again tonight. Lee, thank you. Now to the breaking news we're following as we're on the air tonight. Explosions rocking Tel Aviv. A suspected terror attack in Israel. Bombs planted on several buses. They were empty, but Israeli authorities say they were meant for the morning rush. Martha Raddatz on what we know so far.
Tonight, a string of explosions rocking central Israel in what Israeli authorities say is a suspected terrorist act, highly coordinated and brazen. Multiple city buses up in flames. Authorities say 4 devices were planted on buses, 3 exploded, and they're searching for suspects. Investigators combing through the burned out wreckage. They say the attack was believed to have been planned for Friday morning, meant to detonate during the pre-Sabbath rush when buses in Israel are crowded with commuters. But fortunately, the buses were empty, still in a parking lot. U.S. intelligence sources say the size and number of devices indicates this was well-resourced, saying they are military-grade, sizable explosives. And sources tell ABC News investigators found a note indicating the attackers were seeking revenge for Israel's ongoing operations in the West Bank. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu instructing the IDF to now carry out massive operations in areas he believes are terrorist hotspots. And David, while Israelis have gotten accustomed to rocket and missile attacks launched from outside Israel, this appears to be one of the largest, most coordinated incidents inside Israel proper since the October 7th massacre in 2023.